All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Community Advisory Committee for the final vote. I'm going to call to order and establish a quorum. Upon the receipt of a completed application in response to the request for applications issued pursuant to New York Racing Pari-Mutual Wagering and Breeding Law, Title 2A, the Commission will establish a Community Advisory Committee for each application received based on the physical location of the proposed gaming facility. Accordingly, having received a completed application for a project at Aqueduct Racetrack, Queens, the Commission has established a Community Advisory Committee for the applicant Resorts World New York City. By statute, such Community Advisory Committee consists of appointees made by the Governor, the State Senator, State Assembly member who represents the district where the proposed facility is to be located, the Borough President where the facility is proposed to be located, and the Mayor of the municipality where the facility is proposed to be located. Members of this Community Advisory Committee have been appointed by Governor Kathy Hochul, Mayor Eric Adams, New York State Senator James Sanders Jr., New York State Assembly member Stacey Pfeffer Amato, Council member Adrian Adams, Borough President Donovan Richards Jr. Pursuant to New York General Construction Law, Section 41, a quorum shall be established by the presence of 4 members. I will now call the roll of appointed members. Stevens Martinez, appointed by Governor Kathy Hochul.
Aye. Here.
Nicole Garcia, appointed by Mayor Eric Adams.
Here.
Betty Bratton, appointed by Council member Adrian Adams.
Here.
Senator James Sanders Jr., self-appointed.
Present.
Queensborough President Donovan Richards, self-appointed.
Present.
I, Assemblymember Stacey Pfeffer Amato, self-appointed, present. The presence of a quorum of qualified members is present, thus enabling the transaction of business. Next on the agenda is minutes of previous meeting. The next item of business is the approval of minutes from the organizational meeting held on July 21st, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve these meeting minutes?
Motion to approve. Approve.
Motion by James Sanders Jr. to approve. Do I have a second? Is Betty Bratton a second? It has been moved and seconded that the minutes of the organizational meeting held on July 21st, 2025 be accepted as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Senator Sanders?
Aye.
Okay. Hearing no opposed, the motion carries. The minutes are approved. This committee, as required by statute, has reviewed the Resorts World New York City application, solicited public comments and written submissions of such comments regarding the application, and held 2 public hearings. This committee will now vote on finding establishing public support, approving or disapproving of the application. For an application to be advanced for Gaming Facility Location Board consideration, 4 affirmative votes must be received. On the question whether Resorts World New York City, as presented in its application, should advance to the Gaming Facility Location Board for consideration, I will call on each member individually to vote A or nay and make a statement if they would like on the question, and should they desire, they can explain their vote. First, from distance on Zoom, I'm going to ask James Sanders to go first.
3 points of clarification. 3 points of clarification. The question of the fund, the 150 million, trying to know, is that separate from what Resorts World is doing already? My second question of clarification is the community control of a separate and or independent board. Has that been established? Where do we stand there? And the third, of course, I wanted to put on the record, of course, the business incubator, the desire for a physical site, a building itself. Those are my points of clarification that I'm looking for. I don't mind explaining them if you need more explanation.
I'm happy to take that, Senator. This is Kevin Jones. We'll start.
Good to see you. Good to
Good
see you.
you
We
as
need to
well. We'll start from the left.
1 second, we'll give you a mic.
Greetings from South Africa as you get your mic. I'm in Johannesburg as we speak.
No worries. So thank you for the time and the commitment to seeing this through even from halfway across the world. So starting from the bottom, on the Southeastern Queens Business Incubator, we couldn't be more proud, Senator, to stand by you in supporting that, both in programming and in terms of physical site. So I want to clarify and confirm that our commitment to the business incubator does include no less than $5 million going to the physical site of it. So it will be our honor and privilege to see that through with you and Queensborough President, local electeds, and a host of stakeholders. On the second question, in terms of the Community Advisory Board, that item is under review by Cleary Gottlieb, Stephen Hamilton, which is our council. So Cleary is working diligently to pull together all the formation documents for the fund to ensure that it complies with all gaming and securities laws, but we have given them a really tight timeline. We've given them until the end of this year that has to be resolved, has to be cleared, and will be made clear to everyone here today. With respect to the first question, yes, the additional funds that we referred to in terms of the community fund are additional funds from what we do today.
Madam Chair, I'm ready to explain my vote and vote.
Okay, go right ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and to the rest of the panel of my fellow people. I want to thank you for the process. You have done a very deliberative process. It has been a very open process. Madam Chair, you have done proud, and the organization that had facilitated it has been top notch. Thank you all. In regards to the Resorts World proposal, the Resorts World has always been a good neighbor. Are there things that we can do different? Of course. Are there things I would do different with myself? Of course. Resorts World has been a great neighbor, and I believe that they are a very honest partner in community development. I trust them and they have proven to be people of their word. They realize this community has a long memory and they want to be remembered well. So I feel very comfortable in voting a very strong aye for this project and wish them Godspeed in it.
Thank you
I
very
vote
much.
aye, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Aye is recorded. Next, Stevens Martinez. How do you vote, or do you explain your vote or statement? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. This CAC has demonstrated to the public what it looks like when collaboration, effective communication, and professionalism are set as codes of conduct from the beginning of this process. We asked the applicant some tough questions. Oftentimes, we demanded answers within a short turnaround time. Sorry, guys. But not once did the applicant ever push back on us. Not once did they hide information from us or try to give us the runaround. They answered our questions transparently, quickly, and with data. And I believe this is why the public and the community were on their side. They have clearly built a reputation within the community of being a good neighbor, an honest neighbor, and a generous neighbor. I'm extremely proud to have represented New York State Governor Kathy Hochul on this committee. And with that, I'm proud to say that I will be voting aye and advancing this application. Thank you, everyone.
Stevens Martinez votes in the aye. Nicole Garcia, representing Mayor Eric Adams.
Good afternoon. I have a prepared statement.
The city appreciates the significant economic development impacts this proposal would bring to South Queens and the broader New York City economy, and recognizes the important commitments made around transit improvements, workforce access, and MWBE participation. At the same time, we believe there is more work to do to ensure the project delivers its full potential benefits. Chief among these is the future of the broader Aqueduct site, which represents one of the city's greatest opportunities for new housing. We encourage the applicant to work closely with the state to advance an accelerated housing and planning strategy for the site, or to support jurisdictional transfer to the city so this opportunity can be fully realized. We also recommend continued refinement of community fund governance, public realm design, and MWBE mentorship support. We urge the Gaming Facility Location Board to advance these recommendations as the process moves forward. The vote from the city is aye.
Nicole Garcia's vote for Mayor Eric Adams is an aye. Betty Bratton, representing Adrian Adams, City Councilwoman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To explain my vote, having had experience with this company over the years and having experienced this process, and I second what some of the others have said in regard to how this process has worked out for this particular site, and I am proud to vote aye.
Thank you. Betty Bratton votes in aye. Donovan Richards, Borough President.
Thank you, Chairwoman, and let me start off by congratulating you on a job well done and sort of guiding all of us and keeping the sheet together. So this has really been, as many of my colleagues have said, a great process, and I've been through a million of these as a zoning chairman. I can say that this process was very transparent, and I do want to thank the applicants for answering our questions, even as we pushed buttons up into the last second. But that's what we do. We wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't. But let me say this. Let me start with thanking the applicants, because Resorts World, as it was alluded to, has already been a good neighbor. I believe through this process and through this application and with the expansion, they will even be a better neighbor to Southern Queens. And as the senator alluded to, there's something called community development and economic development. Economic development is when you come into communities and you tell them what they want to hear and you talk of all the good things you're going to do. Community development is actually engaging the community and how can we strengthen economic development within our communities. And this applicant has done at every step of the way. Let me just point out a few things that really get me excited. You know, when I took over as borough president from Sharon Lee, you know, our unemployment rate was at about 24% through the pandemic. We are down to 4.1%. Adding thousands and thousands of more jobs is going to bring that threshold even further. My job and hope, like many of my colleagues here, is to eradicate unemployment, especially in communities of color in Queens County, and we see what's happening at the federal level. So adding thousands of jobs, hands down, is going to help us achieve that. We talk about housing and the fund, the $50 million fund that you've done with Ceres. Huge. That's going to help to alleviate the housing crisis that we continue to face in this city and in this borough. So I want to thank you for that. When we talk about the Community Investment Fund, $750 million, but that $150 million, of course, I want to stress the importance of making sure that there's accountability and transparency and ensuring that there is an independent board, as many of the other applicants have agreed to across the city, even those who have failed, quite frankly, have agreed to. So it's my hope that we do create transparency and more accountability for the public. This is the public's dollars at the end of the day. We want to make sure that the public good is being strengthened here. Community outreach, you know, the agreement from the applicant to work with public housing, from South Jamaica houses to Baisley houses to Rochdale Village, was key for us here. Happy to see that. Then we get to the fun stuff. You know, the senator spoke of the business incubator, but the STEAM Center is going to be game changing. Investments in Roy Wilkins Park, as we just are about to bury a 13-year-old who was killed not far from this site, unfortunately. My friend was killed not far from this site as well when I was 18. So the mere fact that we're going to be able to invest in youth services and really STEM education is key here as well. I'll end in just saying, and in York College, I have to add as well. With that being said, I think you've all earned our trust. Michelle, thank you for the work that you've done over the course of the last, I think, 4 or 5 years or more. Has it been more than that already? 14 years. Wow, I'm getting old. Wow, it feels like 4 years. That's what I tell my wife. Yeah, it just feels like 4 years. It's been 14, actually. Feels like just yesterday you got here. But I really want to thank you, because you've garnered a lot of goodwill within the community, and that was shown through the people who showed up here who normally don't agree on everything. But that speaks to the work that you've done. I just want to end in thanking the Gaming Commission as well. It's really been a pride and joy to work with each and every one of you through this process. And, there's an old saying that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. The community was at the table, and it couldn't have been done without everybody here. With that being said, I'm getting ready to vote, and there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in. You can let the Brooklyn Borough president know that I send my regards to him. With that being said, I vote aye.
Borough president votes in an aye, and some conflict will be brewing. I'll move a little away from you. Next up is myself, representing myself as the state assemblywoman in this district. I have to say this has been an opportunity of my professional career as the assemblywoman to chair this committee, an advisory council of the community with some fine professionals. So I thank you all for your participation. Even from South Africa, Senator Sanders, I thank you for tuning in today and being accommodating. This process, watching, we're all here as public workers, elected officials, and we go through public hearings quite often. And to be part of a public process, watching the enthusiasm of the community come forward and stand up for a partner in our community, it was amazing. To watch person after person, organization, individuals, your employees, to come and stand up on record, knowing that, there's always possible backlash, on things like that. And everyone stood up to say what great partners you were and the support you gave, knowing them personally, down to if it's art, if it was music, if it was students, cleanups, water. It was so personal to everyone that's what's really stayed with me. Sometimes we talk in broad strokes, and it was so personal. Each person who gave public testimony, it really had me thinking about this relationship. And this relationship is about partnerships. If it's with this Community Advisory Council, and when it goes forward for the investments in our community, and thank you for saying that, Borough President, it's about community investment. And I see this as one of the greatest economic-driven investments, meaningful, impactful for generations to come. I'm all about generational wealth, born and raised in Far Rockaway. And I think that's something that we always talk about as building ourselves up to the next generation. How do we lift that? And I see you as being that partner for the entire borough of Queens. So with that, I want to say thank you to the Gaming Commission, the most professional organization I've worked with. I thank you all for your leadership and being there for us when there was a little gray area. But again, to my colleagues on this panel, but to Resorts World New York City, I give an enthusiastic, absolutely yes to supporting this downstate license and moving you on to the next part of the application. The question, the question of whether to advance the application to the Gaming Facility Location Board has received 6 positive votes, meaning the application has been approved. Now, the CAC will record its vote with all members endorsing their vote. We will promptly transmit our determination to the Gaming Facility Location Board and the applicant through New York State TEC. In addition, the committee will provide a copy of all materials upon which the affirmative decision was based to the Gaming Facility Location Board. Do any members have items they'd like to present for consideration?
Yes, I'd like to present that I want to make sure that we thank the governor for this process that she has come up with. It has been a good process.
Thank you for that. Yes, we will thank Governor Hochul for giving us this process and making sure the people have been heard. Hearing no other items for consideration, I thank my fellow committee members for their public service. This meeting of the Community Advisory Committee for Resorts World New York City is hereby adjourned.